on my mark.
Yo! Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played on Vertigo Duel. Today we've got MagicYang playing 4th Dutch, and he's going up against Laggin Dragon playing 79Y. So we'll go through the map, the matchup, the deployments, and then the game. And first we'll do the deck reviews. As always, timestamps in the description. Right, so this is the deck review for Laggin Dragon, and he's playing 79Y. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this, I hope you don't mind, but basically I already covered this deck in this video. Belgium is viable, and here we've got Laggin Dragon playing 79Y, and the decks are practically identical. The only difference is he's removed one helicopter here to add one more plane, and he's got rid of an artillery piece. So he's got rid of an artillery piece, and he's got rid of a helicopter to add one more plane. I believe I suggested that, but I might not have done. And the other thing is, yeah, apart from that, my other pieces of advice haven't really been followed. What I will say as a general rule is that if you want, I would consider down vetting these so that you get more, right? And then if you need more AP or whatever, then you can get rid of this one. Get yourself 2 AP, spend it on whatever you want. I also think that having the Strela and the Tunguska and the Cub and the Igla is superfluous. The Igla should be upvetted. The Tunguska and the Strela have very similar roles to fight helicopters. And so just get rid of the Tunguska, I'd recommend. Then you've got 3 AP, right? And then you can get an extra infantry. It could be a grenade launcher. It could be a Conquer's team, although I don't recommend it. Or it could be more Motorstrelky and BMP2s, or what I do recommend is pull Machiki in the Gaz, so that you've actually got some line infantry and trucks that can fight people. And I would consider upvetting this. So yeah, I mean, it's just the same as last time. It's very, very slightly different. You put an extra bomber in, which I don't really. The thing is, I might have said to do that, but I don't really know if that's such a great idea, because 79Y is not an airspam deck. So I've tried this sort of 4 SU-20, 4M with seed trick, and I just don't think it works very well, so I'd be tempted to get rid of that, and then get yourself, some more tanks, for example, or even more BMP2s, right? So if you say you've got 4 BMP2s there, then you can upvet these two. Now you've got the same number of BMP2s, but now they're all at 2 vet. Stuff like that. I don't really think this is an airspam deck. So I'm sorry that I haven't laboriously gone through it again for, 20 minutes or so, 20 something minutes, but I don't really see the point, it's the same. So switch into his opponent's deck, and that'll be linked in the description if you want to see the full rundown. We've got Magic here, playing 4th Dutch. And I've done a few deck reviews on 4th Dutch as well. It just seems right. I think he's probably got this off one of my videos. I really do get that impression. So we'll just talk about why everything is there. So 3 cards of supply is very important if you've got lots of artillery and tanks. And then this CV... it's 2 per card, and this is 2 per card. If you're just going to have it with your artillery, which is basically what it's for, then I recommend the cheaper one. But, this does have smoke and a bit more armor, so it can be a little bit more survivable for 15 more points. Whether or not it's worth it is up to you. It's a valid choice depending on what you want to use it for. If it's just going to sit with the arty, you don't need it. Imp, so the idea is, okay, so this is where we disagree. You can buy 3 Panzer Infantry in the YPR thing a minute if you mix them with the Panzer Inf Law and the Panzer Inf Dragon. So I think that this should be in the YPR. And the idea being that, you get 260 points a minute, but 3 of these is 270. But 2 of these and 1 of these is 260, and one of these and two of these is 260. So you want these so that you can spam these out. Now, then he won't have a wheeled AT infantry. So I think that he should get rid of this and bring some nators at 1 vet in the DAF, because they're 35 points. They are reservist, but the idea is they're just wheeled infantry to plug gaps. You get a lot of them. You can even have them at no vet if you want, but I don't really recommend that. And they've got an AT, they've got 9 strength, they're just there to plug the gap nice and quick because they're in the truck. So I do recommend that. For the artillery, I think this is a waste of time. I think you should just get 2 of these and have the CV with them. For the transport for this, he's brought it in the truck. That means that it will be more susceptible to counter battery because the truck will just explode, which is why he wants it in the YPR 765. And then in the tank tab, I think this is all very normal. This should be at no vet, this should be at 1 vet, these should all be at 1 vet, and then you've got the 2 CVs. What I will say is he will be behind on points at the beginning because this is tracked and these are tracked. So might want to consider getting an infantry CV if you don't want to be behind on points at the beginning. But honestly, this div is kind of a late game div anyway. Although, well, the reason it's OP is because it's got a really strong early game, which is because of the 8 C and Vs. These things are absurdly cost efficient, and you get 8 of them, which is pretty ridiculous. So yes, you definitely want to be bringing 8 of these. You put 4 out at the start in pairs of 2, or you can have 6, but not all 8, in pairs of 2, and you just send them down less obvious roads. And you'll kill a lot of things, and you'll really mess up the enemy's deployment with your late game div. You also get airborne forward deployment, because why not, at 100 kilometers an hour with AT, because why not? Yeah, recon helicopter, very useful, especially because you will use it with the C and Vs to figure out what roads you can go down. At close ranges, these will kill tanks and stuff on the side armors, so it's very strong. And then Genie Werk. So he's got some genies here. For starters, this should be at 1 vet. If you actually want to use the satchels, having them at no vet just doesn't work very well. I've seen people do it. I've tried it. It just doesn't work. Because you have to run up to the enemy to throw a satchel at him, and then you run out of cohesion because he shot you. And then you just lose the fight anyway. So you need that 1 vet so that you can actually get up there and throw the satchel and still be useful. So if you want the Genie Werk, recommend bringing it at 1 vet for the same reason. Satchels, Uzis, right? This has exceptional optics, so you put it with your tanks, but when you've got 8 of these and recon healers, you don't really need this. I mean, this is exceptional. This is very good, which is good enough, really. AA, so Eyehawk upgraded Gepard and Stingers. That's very normal. Eyehawk gets the planes. Gepard gets the helicopters and helps with the planes. Will deal at least 1 damage to the plane. This will deal 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. Kills the plane. And then Stinger's very, very useful. And then you don't get healers on this division apart from recon healers. And in the air tab, so 2 cards of fighters, a card of clusters, card of HE, and a card of HE. So I would consider getting rid of this so that you can get the rocket plane, because it's 3 availability. And it's got 10 HP, which is pretty useful, and 20% ECM, so you use this to soak for your cluster or whatever, but I mean, it's up to you. So that's it for the deck review. Sorry it was a short one, but I mean, it's literally the same, so I hope you don't mind. You know, so there's no point recovering it. But yeah, I think you could get rid of the Tunguska and then use and get rid of the HE, get rid of the Tunguska, and then use those cards for something else. For starters, if you've got all the SUs, you could get a seed straight off the bat. And then with this, you could up-vet this and bring 2. I just don't think the Tunguska's that useful when you've got the Strellas, you've got the Cubs, you've got the Iglas. Iglas should be up-vetted. And we spoke about, you know, this should be at 1 vet, and you could always get rid of the seed. This is good against helicopters, by the way. And then get some more infantry. I don't really think it's good to play 79 Wise and Air Spam division. I don't think that's where its strength lies. I think the strength lies in the BMP2 spam, backed up by great artillery and great tanks. And I'd be tempted to downvet these as well. So yeah, I hope that was useful. And I'll see you in the matchup, the deployments in the game, and as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so with that out of the way, let's talk about the map. The map is red side favored because you can hide up here. Anna's a lot easier to take than Boris. And you can put an ATGM in here. As you know from the deck review, he doesn't have an infantry ATGM, but he would put it there and it would stop that. You could also put one here and it would stop this reinforcements, these reinforcements. But you can use the BRDM2 Conkers, right? You can put one here for the same purpose. You can put one in this tree line for the same purpose. For blue, they have a slightly easier time of getting into the middle. Both teams get there at the same time. It's just that these buildings provide an ideal fallback position. And if blue gets into here, then they can shoot down here. And they can try and use that to isolate red, but red can always come through the forest. And so yeah, I do prefer the red side. In terms of the matchup, both of these divisions are very meta. 79Y, very meta. 4th Dutch, even more meta. 4th Dutch basically is supposed to be like a late game Leopard 2 division covered by the Eyehawks, but they also get 8 of these C and Vs. These are extremely powerful. They're like good LAVs, basically. They trade a little bit of speed for just being almost half the price and having more availability and getting 2 cards, although you do that in a second airborne as well. So basically, you typically want to send these in pairs around and mess people up. You can kill all their stuff, and if they send a helicopter, you'll kill that as well. And then you swap into IFV spam. You get some very cost-efficient IFVs, and then you get the Eyehawks, you get the Leopard 2s, and, you know, at the start of the game, it's more Leopard 1s and the IFVs. You've also got a really strong air tab, and you've got great artillery. So yeah, there's really no downsides. It's just kind of a broken division. So let's have a look at the deployments. So we've got Magic here, sending some KCT Vinegars here. That is way too conservative. This would get here before this does, because they should both get there at the same time, but this is at 100 kilometers an hour, and this is at 90. Behind that, a C and V just sort of hanging out in the open, although it'll probably autopath into here, at which point it won't be able to... I might be able to shoot that building. It's kind of weird on the LOS there. Yeah, and a recon helo to spot things. Okay. Then he's going for mid with some Vinegars, and then Genie Verk, no Vet, spoke about that in deck review. 1 C and V, and another recon helo. And yeah, Stinger for that. And then on the right, we've got another KCT Vinegars. Typically, you'd want to get it over to here, backed up by another Genie Verk. 2 C and Vs just going to mid, and then an Eyehawk, a Leopard 2A4, a Cheetah, and a Leopard 2A4 command, and a supply. So clearly he aims to just give up on this and push this. I would argue that if you're on this side of the map, you want to hold this and take these, because pushing this is very difficult. Also, I think his C and Vs could be, like, I mean, he's just sort of running them into the enemy. The point is that you could get them up to here, give you vision, whatever, but the Vinegar's doing that. And then you could send one down here, come to here, and then just shoot all his transports, and then, you know, there should be, like, the one here could get up to here and stuff, but basically you'd want to try and get somebody back here, sit here, get vision, shoot everybody, you know? So I think he's wasting his deployment, personally. Switch it to his opponent's deployment, we've got Laggin Dragon. He's opened with a fighter, presumably expecting to see some recon helos, and he's not wrong. So Spetsnaz Gru coming around on the left, and then a Razvedka BMP2 for mid, and then a BRDM2 Conkers and a CV. So it looks like he aims to basically just hold on this side. And it looks like he's running for mid. So he's got 2 Spetsnaz Gru. Just keep in mind that he would get there second if this was coming to here, because this is at 100 and this is at 90. He's backing that up with a Razvedka BMP2. You see he's unloaded it here so that he can shoot down this road. And then a BRDM2 Conkers going to this tree line to cover this. As we spoke about, he's from the deck review, which he didn't skip. He's got no infantry ATGMs, so he needs a vehicle one. Spetsnaz Gru going to mid, we'll get there because it's uncontested. BRDM2 coming here, which is a bit weird. Typically, you'd want this coming up to here. Razvedka BMP2, gonna go into the town as well. And then 2 BMP2 motor Strelkies, so yeah, fair enough. If there was a big infantry push in, you know, if there was infantry in here, he would have a tough time, but I get the point. You know, get the fire support out first, secure your ingress, and then sending the sappers and whatnot. But yeah, sending this just to here and giving this up is really bad, because blue, I mean, he's not doing it, but if he was doing this, he would get to here, get a tank or an ATGM there, and then there you go, you're not getting it anymore. So just something to consider. So we will now cover the game. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel as we watch this MiG-29 take out these two recon helos. Fourth Dutch players always do that, really. It's a pretty easy bet that they're going to send out two or three recon helos. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos at a rate of one per week. At the top tier, they also get their games cast at a rate of one per month. So if you want to improve, great way to improve. Or if you dunk on some guy and you wanna, you wanna show off, a great way to, great way to improve, right? Yeah, what can I say? Looks like this guy did get here first, as we predicted. And there goes the Spetsnaz Gru. I didn't mention that I was unemployed and my PhD isn't going very well. I'm just going to have to submit it, basically. They've told me that they want me to do some more experiments, which I physically can't do because the university won't let me. So, I mean, that's the end of it, really. I got to submit it. We'll see what happens. So, yeah, Spetsnaz Gru are taking the zone. Vinegar's moving back. The Razvedka BMP2 should beat the C&V. The thing is, like, yeah, this guy should be running forwards, and now he is. You see this, and then, yeah, this guy, I don't know, he could have got there first, as we saw in this case. Imagine if that Genie Verk had been put in the correct building, he would have killed both of them, if he'd come into here. Sorry, the KCT Vertigos, if he'd come into here, he would have killed both those Spetsnaz Grus, so just something to keep in mind. Razvedka BMP2 coming around the side there, and my whole PC freezes because this wonderful game. So, Magic doing his attack here, but he's left the tanks behind, which is a bit weird. You would think that these would recon for the tanks, so the tanks could shoot, but no, it looks like he's just sent out the CMVs. But look how much of a problem they're causing anyway. You see how effective they are, right? 55 points each. They've actually got a better gun than this. They've just got less armor and no conkers and so on. But like this is 55 and this is 90, and this is considered overpowered. So. And this has got better optics, so yeah, imagine if he'd had the tanks with it. I'm not sure what he's doing, really. The tank should definitely be with this. So GD Verk coming in, and yeah, so he's got some wheeled infantry coming in now, which is smart, but sadly he just drove his CMV into the infantry, which you don't want to do, right? That's what the GD Verk was for. And then these should be coming around here. But yeah, not using the tanks is kind of weird, so... In the meantime, Laggin Dragon has taken Dmitry. Presumably he will eventually look at centre. But yeah, this was a bit strange, putting us back here instead of up here. Spetsnaz Gru fighting the Genie Verk. They're at Novet. These guys are Special Forces. They're at building as well, so you can't see the Genie Verk winning that. Now I've got two Leopard 2A4s finally engaged, but the CMV's running away, so now they've not got vision, apart from this. He does need to just close range and come kill this. Looks like he's opted to shoot these buildings instead and then smoke. So, not fantastic, really. And then he got hit through the smoke somehow. Okay, that was a bit weird. Anyway, here comes the Cluster 2 plane, and there is an F-16 here to try and intercept, but doesn't manage it. So he's trying to move out the way. He fails miserably and gets sent one forwards, one backwards, and they both got hit. So he loses the CV one, which is, of course, the more expensive one. The Cluster 2 went down, but the F-16 went down. The MiG-29 will survive. Oh, so this didn't get 1 damage on that, so I do apologise. And yeah, so, Blue has failed in his mission to take this, I suppose. I don't know what to say, really. He needs to take this, and then he can starve this out. If you just run up and down here, you're just going to get shot in the side, which is exactly what happened to him. The AT-1 got killed. I think the cheater might have got it. That's just showing the ground range there. It did not land on the CV. And in the meantime, yeah, Laggin Dragon, he's transferring some of his guys out now. He's realised he's got it. But, I mean, look at this. He's just not checking this out at all. Not sending a single unit. Imagine sending these. You could even unload the sappers here. Or unload them in here, right? And then just send the one BTR-60 and do I die? No. Okay, interesting. There's nobody there. So, bit of a weird one. I'm not really sure where he's going. I guess the CV's probably going to come over here, yeah. And then the sappers are coming over here. Sappers not really useful here. I suppose you could get them into this forest. And I suppose one here could be useful. But yeah, I think taking this should be the priority, really. You'd expect there to be some blue units there, but there aren't. So what can you do, eh? Yeah, what can I say? So BMP2 dueling the Pratt. BMP2 fired first, so it's going to get the kill there. And he's saying, look, there must be somebody in there, because how else could he have seen me? Presumably, that's why he's pinging that. But yeah, I do wonder what Blue's plan is here, really, to tell you the truth. Just keep building up, and then it looks like he is trying to take this, so that's intelligent, right? So Laggin is falling back with his Spetsnaz. So you don't want them in the same building, really. I mean, they're both recon as well, so there's literally no reason to wasting recon. And they'll both get damage from that C&V. So yeah, it looks like he's going to try and take mid, which is smart, because if you take mid, you can get a TOW2 in here, although he doesn't actually have infantry ATGMs in his deck, as you'll know from the deck review. Here we go. So with the Spetsnaz group here, he's seen the Vinegars. So yeah, if he can take this and take this, then taking this becomes much easier. Just running up and down here is really kind of brain dead. It can work, but you're just making problems for yourself. Like, you want to do that once you've secured, you know, because let's say if you're red, you've taken this, then you would come over here and take this, and then you get set up here where you're shooting down there, right? Then you'd take this and you'd get set up here and you'd be shooting down there. Then when you attack in mid, you can't reinforce any of this. You just when you just run down this road, I suppose this is mid. Then you would slowly win. So fighter out going for the helicopter. Yeah, you can't really do this. You can't do that. I mean, you know, he's got very good shotgun fighters. Very good shotgun fighters. Oh, okay, they're not the M's, they're the L's. So here we go, he did finally sort this out. So Laggin on a +2 now. Spetsnaz Group taking some fire, and yeah, the CMV survives that one. Needs to go forwards, really, but he's chosen to turn into it, and then... Okay, yeah, that's panicking. Anakin, start panicking. We don't have a Planakin. Cub does shoot, but does get a miss there. But if it shoots again, it'll evac it at least. In the meantime, Mo tries Razvedka. So it... Okay, well, kind of looked like it hit there, but... and yeah, Leopard 2 getting shot by the Conkers. Just attacking down mid. I mean, why aren't these here trying to sort this out? Then you get a smoke mortar, you smoke here so that they don't shoot you through here, and then you can come sort this out. Obviously, you've got this problem, so you need to maneuver around here, but few more IFVs, he'd have it, but you know, Leopard 2A4 shows up not so great against infantry. So yeah, you'd be on the board now, so you can buy one of these at a rate of 1 per minute. So you always want to get these out before the BVs and the ISDs, because you can actually afford them. Any spare cash you can spend on a supply, right? At the start of the game, it's a lot about momentum. Your first purchases are a lot more important than your mid-game purchases, because you don't have a lot on the field, and you know, a lot can change, so it does matter. So yeah, some IFVs coming in here, very exciting. And yeah, this supply could be moved up. Yeah, what do you do if you're red in this case? You just want to hunker down, really. He's taken this, which is great. He lost this, so he should try and get this back next. But yeah, sort this out. What you can also do is, like, you know, get some... So yeah, infantry in the back buildings, but yeah, these need resupplying, clearly. There's 5 men between them. And then, you know, he doesn't have any infantry ATGM, so I suppose he can't put Conkers in here. So yeah, once you've sorted this out, the next step would be to come take this. But red can afford to just sort of play it slow, because he's winning, so there's no point. But you can't just let your enemy build up. I think Yang's got the right idea here. He's going to try and take this, and then he can get set up. Well, I suppose you need a Pratt or something between 2 of these buildings or something to shoot down there. But yeah, once you take this, and he's taken this, which is smart, and then you can take mid. So he's figured it out. It's just a shame at the start he didn't really realise that. Could have used some more Leopard 1s at the start instead of buying 2 Leopard 2A4s. He could have bought like 5 Leopard 1s. And I think he would have been able to sweep all the way down here with those and take this, and then, you know, once you've got up to here, then you can start punching through here because you've got it covered on this side, and then you just get some IFEs and you just shoot everybody, right, and run them in, take the zone. So, you know, easier said than done. Your opponent will try to stop you. It's just, what can I say? So yeah, what can I say? Sapariapio, yeah, so the Genie Verk are in, but they're at no vet, but these guys have no HP, so here we go, he's bringing up the fire support now, yeah, TO55 will sort that out. He's got the, oh, that was close, almost lost that unit. So it looks like this is going to be where the next fight is. Looks like, oh no, he's running away. Okay, he's just hiding behind the building, okay. But yeah, these should really be at one vet, as should his Pioneers. There's no point having satchels at no vet. I got taught by a player who used to be a lot better than me that you should bring him at no vet, and it's just not the case, really. So really good cluster in here. Bam! Gets like 4 units there. And okay. And that's the end of the game. Well, oh, he wasn't happy when that happened. So yeah, Laggin Dragon rank 407. And MagicYang rank 153. So much higher ranked player, actually. 874 total, 1,342 total. And if we just look at the end there, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. Once I caught a fish alive. And he says, you should like the video. My man here, Hippie, he's unemployed and he's about to fail his PhD.